Hello, YouTube family. Welcome to my very first collective card reading for YouTube. Before I dive in, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Maxie. I am a life and transformation and spiritual coach. I am a Holy Fire Reiki Master, and I am an accurate AF Oracle card reader. And I'm very, very thrilled and excited to be bringing you, like I said, my very first collective card reading, answering the question, what's ahead in November? And this one is for my fire signs. I'm going to do this a little bit differently than everybody else I've seen on YouTube, and I'm not going to do pick a card readings. I'm going to record 4 separate readings for each of the elements: fire, water, air, and earth. And we're starting with fire signs because they are my favorite, even though I am not one myself. And so, like I said, this reading is going to answer the question, what is ahead for you in November if you have a fire sign in your sun, moon, or rising sign? So I'm very, very quickly going to tell you how I work. As you can see here, I've pulled a bunch of cards from a bunch of different Oracle card decks. I'm going to turn over the cards. I'm going to share with you what's coming through intuitively. And then after that's over, I'm going to pull a card from this deck. These are the Path of the Soul Destiny cards. These cards are like my gut check. I pull a card, I read the message from the guidebook. That's the only time I use a guidebook. And we just see how that lines up with or supports or expands or amplifies, adds dimension to what came through intuitively. And then the last thing I'm going to do is pull 3 cards from this deck. These are the Daily Crystal Inspiration cards, and the messages on these cards are like your parting words. 2 things you need to know about me. Number 1, I've got 2 children. They're super loud. You will hear them yelling in the background. No, I will not edit it out. And number 2, I talk funny because I wear dentures. Fight me. Okay? All right, so let's get started. First card from the Goddess Guidance deck, and I've listed all the decks that I've used and their creators in the description box if you're interested, you want more information. So, Kuan Yin, compassion, release judgments about yourself and others, and focus on the love and light that is within everyone. Is that a great opener or what? Next, from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck, we have Unfinished Symphony. This is one of my favorite cards of all the cards in all the decks I own. I love this card. It never means anything bad, so we're off to a good start. Next, from the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck, these cards talk about your identity, how you see yourself, how others see you, how that plays into the situations of your life. And the card is the Vessel. The Vessel. Next up, from the Divine Feminine Oracle, and in my readings, these cards represent the energy that you're being called to embody as you go through this next month of your life, and also to remind you of the energy that surrounds you and is available for you to call on when you need it. And so what we have here is Bridget, the goddess of the eternal flame. I am an eternal flame, and each day my light grows brighter. And we have Queen Esther, the morning star. My ego is in service of my soul, and I trust my soul's divine timing. Next up, from the Sacred Rebels Oracle, these cards give you guidance on how to live a unique and authentic life. The card is Be the Hunter, Not the Hunted. This is a great card. From the Journey of Love, which talks about love and relationships, we have Just for a Moment, Joy. From Sacred Creators Oracle, these cards talk about questions of work and career. The edge of evolution feels messy. From the Oracle of E, these cards are like cheeky messages from God. We've got Talkin' Smack. And finally, from the Blind Spot Oracle, these cards tell you what you're not seeing in any given situation or in your life in general. We have Deflection. Okay, my sweet fire signs, let's dig in. Let's tune in here. So this is a really interesting deck, and there is a story emerging already. And it's a story of angst. There's a lot of angsty energy coming up from these cards. It's this energy of, why aren't I farther ahead? I should be farther ahead. Why isn't this working? It should be working. What am I doing wrong? When is it going to happen? When is it going to be my turn? Etc., 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 etc. And this is energy that I can very, very much relate to. Just realized I forgot to start the recording on the camera that shows my hands. This is my first time. You guys got to bear with me, okay? It's energy that I can very, very much relate to, like I said, because I struggle with that a lot. And even just before, like, to be honest, this is the third time I started this video because I was just getting so caught up in my head of like, I want to do a good job. I want to blow people's minds. I want this to be the best reading that they've watched on YouTube ever in the world. And it was just completely obscuring my purpose, which is to channel a message for you that you need to hear right now about what's ahead for you in November. And there can't be any ego involved. There's no timing involved. There's no degrees of awesomeness that you can control. You just have to show up with the purest of intentions, do the work, and let the results come. And that is sort of the overarching message of this reading here. So we start with Kuan Yin, the goddess of compassion. And this card, the goddess guidance card in my readings, it's always kind of like the thesis, you know, it's like the too long don't read kind of summary here. And the message again is release judgments about yourself and others and focus on the love and light that is within everyone. And what's coming up here from this card, my sweet fire signs, is this energy of, ugh, why aren't I doing more? Ugh, why aren't I doing better? Ugh, I'm so stupid. Why did I make that mistake all those years ago? Why didn't I do this? Why didn't I listen to my gut that time it told me this thing? There's a lot of self-judgment and self-recrimination going on. There's this energy of dissatisfaction around where you are right now, and then there is the energy of blaming yourself, chastising yourself, kind of vibrating, swimming in the vibration of regret because you see it as your fault that you are where you are. And so right away, what we have to do is just release that and extend compassion. And there's no greater need for compassion in the world than there is the need for compassion towards ourselves, right? It is just as important as extending compassion for others. So what we're going to do right here is we're going to just release all of that shitty, pointless blame energy. That's the other thing I should have said at the beginning, things you need to know about me. I swear, I ramble, I tell a lot of stories. It's a whole fucking vibe. If you're not into it, now would be a good time to exit the video. We're just going to release all that stuff. It doesn't matter what you think you should have done in the past. It doesn't matter that you didn't listen to your gut, or it doesn't matter that you thought you would be someplace other than you are. It doesn't matter. None of that shit matters. You did what you did, which was the best that you could do with the information and the resources that you had in the moment, because that's all anybody ever does. You did what you could. It brought you here. No matter what path you took, you would have ended up here, because this is the junction, right? This is the portal, the gateway, the bottom of the ladder, whatever you want to call it. You always had to come to this place. So it really makes no difference what came before. And there really isn't any value in chastising yourself or self-recrimination over choices you made in the past. You did what you did. It's over. You're here. And here feels like a dead end. But like I said, it's an opening. It's a gateway. And this energy that's coming through here, which is just for a moment joy, right? Which this is from the Journey of Love card, but it's the same vibe. Like everything is everything in life, right? You're being called to feel joyful about your romantic situation right now. And you can't feel joyful about just one thing in your life and feel shitty and judgy and regretful about every other situation. That doesn't work. This kind of stuff is you can't half step this thing. So just for a moment, joy, just for a moment, appreciate where you are right now. Just for a moment, release all of the sad, sucky, resentful energy about everything. Release all of the angst about why isn't it more, isn't it better, isn't it bigger, why aren't I richer, why don't I have more subscribers, why don't I have more followers, why don't I have you don't have anything that you don't have. You don't need it right now. What you need right now is the space, the energetic space, to make the shifts that are necessary in order for you to actually receive what it is that you're crying out for. Because if the universe dropped it into your lap right now, you wouldn't be able to hang on to it. You would shit the bed and ruin it one way or the other. Does that make sense? The edge of evolution feels messy, right? It's corny, it's trite, it's always darkest before the dawn. It's a cliche because it's true, right? You're in this place where you just feel like, I can't keep trying. I can't keep spinning my wheels. I can't keep believing for blessings and gifts and opportunities that are not coming. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to be patient anymore. I want my stuff now. And the backlog, the thing that's blocking you from entering that next phase, is your perception of self and your perception of your life, right? You are the vessel. That's the identity card. It's this spiral that you're spinning around in of like looking at what you don't have, looking at what you haven't gotten, looking at what hasn't been given to you, looking at these things, these actions you've been taking, this work that you've been doing that hasn't been yielding any results, and you're spinning around in that instead of spinning around in like, whoa, look how far I've come. Whoa, because look how far you've come. Even if you haven't received what it is that you were desiring or calling in, you still, like, there's so many steps that you had to have taken to get to this spot, right? You had to have recognized what the desire was. You have to have known and learned that you were worthy of the desire. You had to have done the work to own your desire. And then you had to have done the work, created the things, taken the steps, taken the courses, watched the videos, created the graphics, built the websites, started the Instagram or social media accounts, whatever it is that you've done. You've done all that stuff, and that's fucking great. And all of that stuff has value in and of itself, even if it hasn't led you to the promised land yet. And as long as you're living in this energy of lack, as long as you're vibrating at this frequency of the universe is not delivering what I'm owed, this doesn't work, this is pointless, I'm going to give up. Like, as long as you're holding your joy, like you're leveraging your joy against the universe, like you refuse to feel joyful about where you are, what you've been delivered through, the lessons that you've been taught, the gifts that you've been given up to this part. I refuse to feel joyful. I refuse to feel grateful until it manifests in exactly this way that I have decided it must manifest in order for it to mean something. That's the identity that you're all right now, and you're the vessel. That energy can't receive shit from the universe. The universe isn't going to give you... Why would the universe give you anything more if you're not grateful and joyful about what it has given you so far? Because even the bad shit that you went through was a gift in one way or the other. At the very, very least, if you're judging yourself for not having listened to your gut in the past, well, haven't you learned a valuable fucking lesson? And isn't that a mistake you're not going to make again? And isn't that a fucking gift that you should be grateful for right now, instead of complaining about the fact that you're not getting more gifts? And on, etc., etc. It feels messy right now because it's the edge of evolution. It feels messy because a big part of manifesting, calling in, receiving, doing this dance with God, whatever you want to call it, a big part of it is the surrender, is the trust, is the relinquishing of the how and the when as not being a part of your job. Your job is to know what you desire. Your job is to receive the directions from God, Spirit, Source, Universe, whatever you believe in, and do the things that you're asked to do, heal the things, the beliefs and the stories and the wounds that are in opposition to what you're trying to create. And then surrender the rest. You surrender the exactly what, you surrender the when, and you surrender the how. And so you're in this messy energy right now because it's like, oh, you want to go do the universe's job. You want to decide the how and the when and the exactly what. And it's creating all this chaotic, conflicty, angsty, dissatisfied energy in every area of life. And the Unfinished Symphony card tells us that you don't know what's ahead. Whatever it is that you've been working for, grinding for, trying to create for yourself, you have no idea. You have no idea how it's going to play out. You have no idea. But here's what you can know. It's that or something better. That's all. Can you hear this? That's all, always, only, ever what it is. This or something greater, this what I desire or something even better for everybody concerned. But you're not here at this edge of evolution in this messy, angsty energy as evidence that you're not going to get what you want. You're here in this messy, angsty, chaotic, frustrating energy because you have to transcend the energy in order to get to the next place. That's the price of entry. Gratitude, joy, contentment, and more important than all of that, true surrender to God, Spirit, Source, Universe, whatever you believe in. As in, I'm going to keep doing my part and you're going to keep doing your part. I have this thing, and this is something that if I were coaching you, I would tell you to do this. Go make a to-do list. On one side, think about the things that you're trying to achieve, you're trying to create in your life, right? Say I want to do 1,000 card readings before the end of the year. And I'm going to make a list of all the things. So here's the thing. 1,000 card readings at the top of the page. And then the to-do list is divided into 2 columns. Me on the left, and I would write God, but you can write spirit, source, universe, whatever you believe in, on the other side. And here's all the earthly actions. Here's all the practical, logical steps I can take to make it possible, right? So I can put myself out there and do card readings so people can experience magic and want to book it for themselves. I can post on social. I can advertise my business. I can, I don't know, whatever, go on a TV show and demonstrate my card readings, whatever the fuck I could do. And then, but delivering the 1,000 people, that goes on the right side. That's not my job. How those 1,000 people are going to find me, that's not my job. That's over there, right? You have to recognize some stuff is your job, some stuff is your responsibility, and some stuff just isn't. And you have to relinquish it. You have to surrender it. This clutching energy, this controlling energy of you wanting to dictate the exactly what and the exactly when and the exactly how is not receiving energy, because you cannot clench with an open hand and you cannot receive with a clenched hand. Okay? So this is the central conflict that's going to come up for you in November. And like I said, everything is everything. So this applies to business goals, career goals, relationship goals, whatever it is that you're trying to make happen and you feel frustrated by. This is the message. Just for a moment, joy. Just for a moment. In this moment, I choose to feel joyful about where I am. I desire to do 1,000 card readings this month, but I've done 10. And just for this moment, I'm going to feel joyful about that. And inevitably, the voices are going to creep up and be like, it's already October 27th. There's only 4 days left in the month. You're not going to make 1,000 people. And I'm going to in that moment, I'm going to choose to feel joyful instead. And just for the next moment and the next moment and every opportunity that you have to choose joy, you choose it. And that's how you get into the appropriate vibration where the universe can deliver all the good shit. Okay? So let's talk a little bit here. So let's talk about, let's talk about all of these. Let's really get into it. You know what I mean? Normally when I do a card reading like this, it takes like an hour. I'm trying to be a little bit more streamlined so we can get these. Who's going to sit here and watch me for an hour? You don't know me, right? So let's try and get this done. So we're going to talk about these 3 all together. So the blind spot card, deflection. What we're talking about here, the blind spot cards tell you what you're not seeing. And what you're not seeing, what you're being called to witness, confront, heal, release, reorganize as it pertains to the month ahead is the ways in which you are deflecting. I want to say blame, but it's not blame, it's responsibility. The ways in which your energy and your mindset and your beliefs are blocking your blessings. You want to sit there and rage. I'm doing the work. I'm trying. I'm putting myself out there. I'm healing the things. I'm creating the graphics. I'm doing the lives. I'm doing all the things. I'm reaching out to people. Blah, blah, blah. You're doing all this stuff. And like I said, that's fucking fantastic. But if you're doing all of that stuff from this clenched, controlling energy of like, this is going to be the thing that works. And this is going to be the thing that's going to turn everything around. Instead of like, I heard a call and I answered the call. And that's why I did the thing. Right? As long as you're bringing all of this angsty, edgy, messy, dissatisfied energy, you are repelling your own blessings. You are repelling that which you claim to desire. And you might want to ask yourself why exactly that is. Because it's not just about impatience. It's not just like, oh, I've done all this work. I've been praying for this thing. I've been wishing for this thing. I've been visualizing. I've been doing my 5x55 or my 2x22 or whatever the fuck method that you use. And it's not working. And so I legitimately have a reason to be frustrated. It's about having the understanding that frustrated energy is not receiving energy and choosing to persist in frustrating energy regardless. And why are you doing that? Because some part of you does not want to receive what it is you desire to receive. Some part of you feels more comfortable in the not having than in the having. You ever wonder why you don't do the things? Do you ever have this thing that you wish for so badly? I have this thing that I desire certain outcomes in my relationship, let's say. And I know exactly how to get my partner like how to make my partner feel like open and receptive and willing to allow our relationship to evolve in the direction that I desire to. I know exactly the kind of energy I have to bring, the role I have to play, how I have to treat him in order to get him to feel safe and willing and interested in allowing our relationship to continue to deepen. But sometimes I just choose not to do it. And it's just because I feel more comfortable in the angsty, edgy, frustrated energy of like, why won't you give me what I want? Than I do in the energy of like, well, yeah, of course our relationship went this way. Where else would it go? Does that make sense? Leave a comment if it doesn't make sense and I'll try to explain it better. So deflection is your blind spot, and the card is asking you to confront the ways in which you are repelling the thing that you were trying to call in for yourself at the same time. And why are you doing that? And most likely it's because you're kind of afraid somewhere inside of you. You're kind of afraid of what might happen to you if you get it. Or you don't really identify as the kind of person who gets what they want. And so you're repelling it. Maybe you're repelling it with self-sabotaging actions, or maybe you're repelling it by staying in shitty, frustrated, edgy energy that you know is incompatible with the universe delivering your desires. But either way, you're deflecting. And the call is to confront the ways in which you're deflecting. Remember, you're the vessel. You're the portal. Your energy is the portal through which these desires have to travel in order to be dropped into your reality. And if they're not doing that, it's because something's funky and off in your energy. And I feel like for at least some of you, my dear sweet fire signs, this is not going to be new information. There is going to be that little voice in the back of your mind that has been saying to you, well, you know, the more frustrated you are, the more you complain, the more you rage, the harder it is for the universe to deliver what you desire. So you should probably stop doing that. There's some part of you, for at least some of you, that actually knows that. And you keep doing it anyway. And that's what you're not willing to confront. But that's what you're being called to confront. It's all this smack talking that's happening in your mind, all this shitty low vibe energy, all this like that inner critic, that voice in your mind that's like, oh, see, you're not good enough, you haven't gone far enough, you don't have enough followers, you don't have enough money, you don't have this, you don't have that, see, you're a failure, see, you're a fuck up, see, I told you it would never work, I told you can never have this, I told you you're not the kind of person who can have all these things, you shouldn't have even tried, you were stupid to have tried. All that smack talk that's happening in your mind that you're entertaining, you're actually considering, could this be true? You're looking at the external factors, well, like, oh, I've been trying to create this thing and it's not happening. I'm not receiving my desires. And my mind is telling me it's because I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not the right race. I'm not the right gender. I'm not the right whatever the fuck. I don't have the right connections. I don't have the right amount of support. I don't have the right education. I don't have the right credentials. Whatever the fuck. So you're looking at these external factors and you're listening and entertaining this voice that's talking smack in your head, and all of that is contributing to this shitty, edgy, frustrated, disappointed, angsty, lack energy that is repelling your desires. Be the hunter, not the hunted. Take control of the parts that are yours to control. Like I said, the universe, God, spirit, source, whatever you want to call it, is in charge of the how and the when and the exactly what. But you are in charge of making yourself, your mindset, your energetic state, your vibration compatible with receiving. Don't allow those things to be the result of external factors. I feel good about myself when this thing happens, and when that doesn't happen, then I don't. I feel valued. I feel valuable. I feel worthy. I recognize that I have something to offer the world when it is affirmed to me by the outside world, and when it's not, I'm not. Right? That's being the hunted. You need to be the hunter. You need to vibrate at the frequency of joy and gratitude and contentment and excitement and knowing it's already yours and understanding what a gift you are to the world and understanding how much you have to offer. And you need to be able to stay at that vibration no matter what the fuck is happening around you. You need to know. Sorry, I thought one of my kids was crying. They're playing this game, this jelly Mario game. Do you guys know what it is? It looks like Mario Brothers, but Mario is made of jelly. I don't fucking know. It's like a big source of high emotions and drama in my household. Anyways, Be the hunter, not the hunted. You are in control of your vibration. And how you get into the energy of receiving your desires is by being in the energy of, well, A, it's already yours. B, of course I'm going to get what I receive. And C, I know it's going to happen when it's supposed to happen, and I don't have to worry about the timing, and I don't have to worry about the logistic of it. All I have to do is just keep taking the aligned actions that I'm called to take. All I have to do is keep making sure that my energy is clear and balanced, my chakras are open and balanced, and I'm vibrating at the appropriate frequency. That's how you take control of your side of the street, your side of the to-do list. So it's practices, it's affirmations, it's, like I said, in the moment, choosing joy over fear, choosing satisfaction over discontent, right? Choosing to feel abundant over choosing to feel lack. That's your responsibility. That's how you shift from being the hunted to the hunter. Does that make sense? Because that's what the call is for you right now. It's to these internal shifts, this energy management, this self-mastery, as I like to call it, is the missing piece. It is, if you're looking for a reason why things aren't working for you, that is it, because you haven't yet mastered this skill of being the hunter, taking control of your vibration and your energy and your mindset, and being able to stay in that energetic space regardless of what's happening around you. Right? Makes sense? Let me know if not. Okay, so let's talk about these divine feminine cards. Like I said, in the reading, these cards represent the energy that you're being called to embody for the month of November. My ego is in service of my soul, and I trust my soul's divine timing. My ego is in service of my soul. My fears, my wounds, my limiting beliefs, they all come up in service of your soul. They all come up to be confronted and witnessed and have compassion extended to and be integrated into who you are. When you're in this place, right, it's like this kind of stuff, manifestation, whatever you want to call it, there's a cycle to it, right? You decide you want something. Of course, you have to do all this excavation to figure out, like, where are there beliefs in me that it's not possible, where is my energy incompatible with it? And then you start doing the thing. You start visualizing it. You start embodying it. You start vibrating at the frequency of it. You start telling yourself it's already done. You start imagining energetic tethers pulling the thing to you. You make your vision boards. You write your affirmations. All the little tactics that you can do. And then you inevitably get to that point where it's like, I'm doing all the things and it's not working. And that is what triggers all this ego stuff. It's not working because I'm not good enough. It's not working because I'm not good. I'm not doing a good enough job at maintaining my vibration. I'm not doing a good enough job at acting as if. I'm not being consistent with my practices. I'm not affirming enough, whatever. It brings up all this self-judgment. It brings up all of this energy of not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. To be honest, I don't even try to manifest things anymore, because I get to that part and I start to feel badly about myself and be like, see, look, I can't even fucking manifest properly. I can't even fucking maintain my vibration properly. So I've just reworded the whole vibe for me. So it's the same thing, but I just don't call it that anymore, because manifestation is just a word that triggers me. My point is, you are in this place right now, and it is in service of your soul, because it is the ego that's saying, why isn't it happening? It's not fast enough. It's not happening fast enough. I don't have enough. I haven't done enough. I haven't created enough. I haven't received enough. I don't have enough followers. I don't have enough subscribers, whatever. All of that is ego stuff. And it's coming up not just to taunt you, but for you to confront it, so that you can build the mechanisms in terms of the practices, the reframes, the choices you make to master your vibration, right? To master maintaining a certain vibration. So even the fear stuff, even the shitty feelings, even the limiting beliefs are in service of your soul. And then the other part is, I trust my soul's divine timing, right? And I've already talked a lot, it feels like, about trusting divine timing, right? We're trusting God's divine timing. We're trusting your divine timing, meaning that the healing is going to happen when it's meant to happen. Remember, way back 10 years ago when I started this reading, we talked about showing compassion to yourself, about releasing judgments, about the things that you've done and the mistakes you've made in the past, the lessons that you should have learned a long time ago. We're trusting our soul's divine timing means that we trust that we're learning the lesson right now, because right now is when we're supposed to learn it, and right now is the only time that we ever would have been able to learn it. And so can we just trust that? So when you start to get frustrated, when when your fear mind starts talking smack and making you think that you're always going to be less than and you're never going to be good enough and you're never going to get there, can you just bless it? Say, thank you, ego, for acting in service of my soul. Can you just embody that energy of even that, so that you're not judging yourself for judging yourself? You're thanking these negative feelings for coming up so that they can be witnessed and healed and acknowledged and integrated as parts of your soul. Does that make sense? And then we have Bridget, the goddess of the eternal flame. The goddess of the eternal flame. I am an eternal flame, and each day my light goes brighter. Remember back here when we talked about, just for a moment, joy and choosing joy? And think of it as like, I want to say, think of it as a candle that you're breathing into, and that makes the flame brighter. But obviously from an earthly standpoint, that makes no sense, because if you're breathing onto the candle, you would probably blow it out, and that would make the flame less bright, not more bright. But we're talking energy here, and it doesn't follow conventional rules. So every time the talking smack energy starts to come up, every time that energy of lack and frustration and angst and chaos and disappointment and all of that shit comes up, you choose to reframe it. You choose to feel joyful instead. You are adding more brightness, more warmth, more heat, more magnetism to the eternal flame of who you are. Each day, my light grows brighter. So can you affirm yourself and thank yourself for every one of those moments that you chose joy? Thank you, me, for continuing to make my flame grow brighter. Thank you, me, for making the choice that makes my flame grow brighter, because the flame is the magnetism, right? It's the vibration. It's the glowy, compelling, warm, beautiful, attractive energy that makes everything and everyone want to stick to you, want to fly to you, right? That's what the flame does. And every time you choose joy, can you hear this? Would you believe that right before I came in here, I said, hey, you guys, I'm about to shoot a video for YouTube, so could you be a little bit quiet? And they were like, oh, yes, mommy, of course, mommy. We'll be quiet as a mouse, mommy. And now listen to this shit. There are plenty of rooms in this house. Why do they choose the one that's right outside my door? I don't. Well, I do know. I'll tell you why. It's because my children are obsessed with me. But that's another story for another day. And yes, if I were a more polished kind of person, I would edit this part of the video out, or I would pause and tell them to quiet down. But I'm not going to do either one of those things, because like I said, this is a vibe, and that's a part of the vibe. If you're gonna be watching my videos, you better get used to that shit, because it happens all the time. Anyways, every time you choose joy, you feed the eternal flame. And you see the green here? You know what that is? That's heart chakra. That's heart chakra stuff. That's building up the stores of love, right? That's increasing the amount of love that you are radiating out into the universe. And that is the thing that is going to get you to the next phase that you so desperately want to get to. Does that make sense? It makes sense. All right, so moving on. Like I said, I'm going to pull a card from this deck. I'm going to read the message from the guidebook. We're just going to see how that lines up with what just came through. So I'm going to give these cards a quick shuffle. And then, oh, this is interesting. Okay, so I'm going to hold this up to the camera, and I want you to just stare at this for a minute. You can pause the video if you want to. And the artwork on these cards, it's called fractal energy artwork, which means that there's messages kind of like hidden in the layers of the image. So you want to really stare at it, really take it in. Anything that comes through, if you're hearing words or seeing visions or anything that's coming through that feels like a sign, you can take it as a sign, because basically what it is the card is speaking to you. Okay, and so this is card number 13, and the message is fertile. This is a card of creation and fertility. Although it can signify the possibility of pregnancy, it usually appears as an encouragement to continue taking action. Now is the time to start the groundwork for your deepest inner desires, dreams, ideas, or plans. All the conditions are right for setting things in motion to bring things from the world of thought into form. And that sounds like a whole bunch of affirmation of what I've just been saying to me. You may disagree. You're right. It's fertility, right? It's about creating the fertile ground, like we keep talking about. Frustration, lack is not compatible with receiving. Gratitude, joy, that is compatible with receiving. So till the soil, get it into a fertile ground where seeds can not only be planted but blossom in the way that you desire. That's the call. That is what is necessary for you in November. That is what November is all about. It's that time to till the soil. It's that time to think to yourself. Every single time you start to have those thoughts in your mind, that those smack talking thoughts come up and saying, oh, why isn't this happening to me? Why am I not succeeding at this? Why am I not receiving this? That's the time to stop and turn inward and ask yourself, where in me is there incompatible energy that's making it difficult for this to be delivered to me? Where in me where and when and how am I vibrating at a frequency that is not compatible with receiving what I desire, right? That's what you haven't been doing thus far. You've been putting all the blame on all the external factors, and now it's time to look a little bit inward. Take control by doing that little personal inventory and then choosing to be joyful, making that conscious choice every time you find yourself in low vibe energy to choose to move up to a higher vibe. And if you don't know what that means, go Google what's it called? The emotional guidance scale? Is that what it's called? Somebody in the comments will know what it's called. Haha, as if I'm going to get comments. This is my first video. The emotional guidance scale, the emotional frequency scale, where it shows you like the vibration of each of these different feelings. So if you're feeling frustrated, that's like a lower vibration thing, and like you find the highest one that you could get to. So maybe you can't go from frustration to joy, but you could go from frustration to satisfaction. Something like that, right? Okay, so let's pull some crystals and then I will send you on your way if you're still here with me, which I hope you are. Okay. 1, 2, 3. So we've got Celestite, Soothe Your Soul. And we've got Phantom Quartz, Embrace Change. And finally we have Iolite, Shift Your Money Mindset. So let's start here. When we're talking about money mindset, we're talking about root chakra stuff, we're talking about stability, we're talking about abundance, right? So it's not just about shifting your money mindset, although that, of course, is highly important, and that's a whole other conversation about how your mindset around money affects your vibration around money, which affects your ability to receive money. That's a whole other thing. Go look up Amanda Francis. She will school you. And there's nothing I could tell you on that subject that I didn't learn from her, okay? Shift your abundance mindset and shift it into a mindset of abundance. That's all it is. Like I've been saying, you're stuck in lack energy, you're stuck in frustrated energy, and that's incompatible with receiving. So shift it into an energy of abundance. Embrace change. Like I said, the call for you for November is to start a different way of being, to take all of that inner work or outer work you've been doing and do the inner work to match up with it, right? It's a different way of being in the world. It's a different way of looking at life. It's a way of transcending your external circumstances so that you can maintain a vibration of joy and satisfaction and abundance and peace and excitement and all that stuff, even if your bank account is negative 12 zeros. You know what I'm saying? Embrace change. It requires a willingness to do things differently. It requires a willingness to see things differently. And finally, soothe your soul, right? And this comes right back. You see how these dovetail so nicely? First card of the reading, last card of the reading, right? Release judgment about yourself and focus on the love and light that is within everyone. Release judgments about yourself and others and focus on the love and the light. Soothe your soul. Judging yourself, blaming yourself, self-recrimination, all that stuff, regret, resentment, those are not soothing emotions. They are the exact opposite of soothing emotions. So choose the emotions that soothe you. Choose the emotions that make you feel peaceful. Choose to see things as a gift. Choose to see everything that you've been through and the lessons that you've learned and the scars that you've developed and all of that as gifts, as weapons in your I want to say toolkit. Tools in your toolkit as more pieces of armor to protect you against negative vibrations, whatever you want to call it. But you got to choose. You have to choose to soothe all of that angsty, frustrated, disappointed energy that will continue to try and come up and come up and come up. Don't go hang out in that in those thought patterns. Don't go hanging out in that frequency of like, oh, I never get what I want. Oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, I'm not the kind of person. Don't go, when that stuff starts to come up, don't then go on a friggin' comparison binge on Instagram and look at all the ways in which everybody else is more successful and skinnier and taller and thinner and prettier than you. Don't waste your time doing that. Find something to do, find something to say, find a way of looking at it that is soothing to you, because that is compatible with the energy that you need to be in order to receive your desires. Does that make sense? Okay, my beautiful fire signs, thank you very much if you're still watching. I will see you next month for December predictions. Water, earth, air signs, you're coming up next. Okay, thank you. I'll see you all the time. Bye.